Yes, people. Merry Christmas to all. Hope you all had a brilliant day, spending it with your families, friends, whoever, loved ones, the whole nine. I hope everybody is obviously all good, but we're back. We're back. We're finally back. We had a day, we got to watch EastEnders, who done it and all sorts. If you haven't seen it, please make sure, you go and check EastEnders out if you haven't done so already. But we're back with the important stuff. We're back with the football, and that is Burnley versus Liverpool down at Turf Moor, match day 19. We are almost there at the halfway point of the season. Liverpool, obviously coming off their back of the game against Arsenal, drawing 1-1, currently sits second in the Premier League. Burnley, obviously coming off their win against Fulham. We know that they've had a bit of a funny time, this season in terms of their results and things like that. But ultimately, they're hoping that they can potentially, stay in the league this season and, of course, build from there. Now, I'm going to get into my lineup, going to get into, team news, just a bit of news that I found out today. Couple stats and things like that, and then we will give you my score prediction for the game. Make sure you're smashing that like button. We are currently on 897, so yes, we are only 3 more subscribers to go to get to that magic number 900. So please, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and keep your notification bell on. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Tables turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep feeling it.
Yes, people. We are back in the building. I hope you guys are all good. As I mentioned before, Merry Christmas to those who celebrate, and just, happy holidays, man. Do you know what I mean? Even for those who don't celebrate it. I know we were all waiting for that Mo Salah post to get everybody riled up, as it does every single season or every single year. He obviously put that post out. Obviously with a few words with the situation that's going on, of course, around the world. But ultimately, that tweet obviously did come out. And as per usual, it caused a stir. I'm not here to get into that. To be honest with you, that's got nothing to do with me. I'm here to talk about the football, and that is Burnley versus Liverpool. So, Burnley versus Liverpool, interesting game. We heard Jurgen Klopp obviously speaking about this fixture before in a previous press conference that he did. Just talking about, going to Burnley, Boxing Day, just after Christmas. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, whichever way you kind of want to see it. Even if Liverpool were to run out comfortable winners, I still think it's a tough place to go. Cold, could be rainy, might be wet, windy, all the kind of stereotypes that, we give to places like Burnley, Stoke and things like that, is going to be applied, I think, anyway, in this type of game. And obviously, of course, you'll see in my score prediction as to what I've kind of gone with. So do I think, after the game against Arsenal, do I think that, Liverpool coming into this, in good stead? I don't think so. It's now 2 games, 2 Premier League games in a row. Liverpool have drawn, so they haven't won in 2. They haven't won in 2. Hopefully, we don't make it 3. Especially the fact that Manchester City coming back off their Club World Cup win. I don't want them to start thinking, all right, cool. And this is what always happens every single time. When Manchester City have games in hand, which they currently do. and you're ahead of them, what always happens is you don't lose the games. And I mentioned this before, you don't lose, but you end up just keep drawing and drawing and drawing. And then Man City catch up. And then poof, all of a sudden, now they're ahead of you. And then you're turning around, trying to convince people that you haven't bottled the title. When the reality is you probably have, kind of thing, and the sheer fact that Manchester City are a really, really good team. So, you don't want to give them any type of impetus to think, yeah, I can still get in there, and etc. As great as they are, you don't want to give them that, because as I mentioned, they are a great team, so they're not the type of team you want, chasing you. They're too skilled at it. They understand the role, they understand the assignment, so you really just want to try and get as big a lead as possible. You've seen with many leads that clubs have had. Liverpool have had it, Arsenal have had it. It doesn't really matter. They seem to be able to still find that extra gear, with players coming back. I know Rodri picked up that little bit of an injury. Kevin De Bruyne coming back, especially, it's going to be an interesting second half, of the season. But before we even reach there, Liverpool have to play their 19th game of the season. Make sure as well, guys, you tune in. It should be on my YouTube channel already. I should have already set that up. My mid-season Liverpool review. I'm going to try and get a couple of the guys on. If not, it's just going to be me chopping it up with you guys in the chat, just talking about, Liverpool, how we're looking, moving forward, and etc. So yeah, it'll be sometime, I think on Thursday around about potentially about 8 o'clock. So I think Manchester City are actually playing on that same evening, to be fair. So yeah, tomorrow, sorry, actually Wednesday, 8 o'clock. So make sure you guys, of course, tune into that. But yeah, Liverpool, man, it's been a bit crazy. I know people, in the last 2 games, I think Liverpool have only faced about 3 or 4 shots on target at their goal, scored 1 goal, had over 40, 50 shots, or 40 shots, I know for a fact, because we had about 30 odd against Manchester United and however many against Arsenal. So I'm sure it's around about that 40 mark in terms of shots at goal. But we've only got 1 goal, and we've drawn the last 2 games, that big title, not decider, but a big match in the race for the title, shall we say, especially at this early stage anyway. It was a big match, and Liverpool unfortunately weren't able to, get the victory. So, and we picked up a couple of injuries, which I'll get into in a sec. So yeah, it's like I said, it's not like it's not looking good or anything like that in that kind of sense. Yes, there are a few bits, there are a few things, in regards to the team, the cohesion of the team, some of the kind of players, the midfield, the attack, looking a little bit kind of thing. Are they just getting tired? Is it just that time of the season? Can they just plow through, before we reach into that second half of the season, especially before Mo Salah and Endo go away for their respective countries' competitions in January as well? We really want to, just keep up the pressure before, even if you do have a blip, you at least want to be having that blip in a good position. You don't want to be having that blip and you're kind of like, before these guys go away and before Liverpool really, I don't know, derail or anything like that, it's going to just, we're already doing shit. You don't really want that, which is why it's kind of important to me that we do get this victory, because 3 games now, then your next game is against Newcastle. Again, another tough fixture. We don't know how that's going to kind of pan out. So we want to be getting these victories, should I say, sorry, nice and early. So, looking at this, now this was only posted out around about a couple of hours ago from the time of this video. So again, this might update during the day. I have no idea. But just as of now, looking at this, as I mentioned before, with the injuries, that Liverpool have kind of got, this season, you can see Diaz picked up that injury against Arsenal. So, he's a doubt. Physios say they weren't too concerned, but I'd be surprised if Jurgen Klopp was to risk him. I would be surprised. Maybe potentially, if it's not too bad, there may be a spot on the bench, maybe. Jota, obviously, they had that hamstring injury, unavailable. He didn't train with the team before Sunday. I think he's had 1 training session, or 1 proper session. Whether that is enough for Jurgen Klopp to risk him, I don't know. It's tricky with someone like a Jota, because he does pick up quite a few injuries, and his injuries, do leave him out for a little while. So will he want to risk him? He will know that, of course, we're going to be a man down in terms of, well, really we're 2 men down, because, Ben Doak is, of course, injured as well. So, we don't want to be leaving ourselves too short come January, where we're struggling to find attackers to even play, because then that might have an impact on other areas of the pitch. So, we just got to be careful. Again, I feel like he might fall into the category of Diaz in terms of maybe the bench, potentially the bench. Obviously, McAllister, he's obviously had that knee injury, so of course he is going to be out as well. Tsimikas picked up that injury against Arsenal, so another player injured in recent times. Collarbone, no idea how long that injury is going to keep him out for. Hopefully not too long, but I fear it's going to be long. That's my thinking. That is my thinking, that it is going to be quite a while. So that might mean Liverpool may potentially need to, dip into the market. Heard Jurgen Klopp talking about, potentially wrapping Joe Gomez, which makes it obvious now that he's going to play left back, wrapping him in cotton wool, because he is really our only left back that we've actually, senior left back, should I say, that we've actually got. So, that might mean, potentially dipping into the market, of course, depending on how long, Costa Tsimikas is out for. Matip, we already know. Thiago, who is he? Bajcetic, ain't seen that guy in time. And obviously Andrew Robertson is still unavailable due again to his shoulder injury. And of course, Ben Doak is of course injured as well. So, quite a few injuries, if I'm being honest, for Liverpool. There's quite a few. Do you know what I mean? It's not... I mean, this is typical, if I'm being honest. I'm actually more surprised that there's not more outrage at the fact that we've got so many injuries. Maybe it's because now we have more players to be able to potentially come in, but now we're running out of those players. We are actually generally running out of players to kind of play. So I am looking at that and thinking, ish, is it going to be a problem? Is it going to be a problem? If we pick up one or two more injuries this evening, Liverpool, obviously depending on how long they are, I feel we have to dip into that market, to remain competitive for the remainder of the season, especially that we're fighting in the Carabao Cup, Premier League, the Europa League. We've got the FA Cup coming in January as well, to keep the guys competitive. You don't want other players who maybe don't get injured as much to then just fatigue, just get tired, towards the middle kind of back end of the season, because that's going to be the most important running, and we saw, back in when Liverpool were going for those 4 trophies, you saw the kind of energy bringing someone like a Luis Diaz actually just did for the whole team. The whole team just went up a gear. I feared at that time that, yes, we were winning games and we was doing well, but you could see the team was just getting tired and tired and tired. And it's like, we just needed some type of a lift. We needed something, so I'm hoping that we do potentially sign a player in January, player or two, actually, to be honest, just to help out with the team, just really to help out with the team. And also in the future as well, not just a stopgap type of signing. I don't want those. I don't like those kind of signings. I prefer, players that, you're signing for now and for later. It's going to be difficult of course, in the January transfer window. People don't want to let their best players go. Other teams don't want their certain players to go just because of the importance of that said player. So, so many different things, to think about. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. We're really, really gonna have to wait and see. But that injury list, it is growing. And bearing in mind it's growing, and you still got players like Konate, Gomez, who are quite injury prone. Who else is still there? I wouldn't call Jones is not injury prone, but picks up weird injuries quite frequently, if I'm being totally honest with you. So yeah, and as I mentioned, Endo's going to go soon. So those numbers, Gravenberch, it starts to just pick up a little piece. Do you know what I mean? So we just have to be careful. Of course, we can't do anything now anyway, so we can't sign anybody. So whether it doesn't matter, 5 players get injured between now and January, we can't sign anybody. But we just do need to be careful, moving forward, that we don't, burn out anybody. And we can, I mean, I don't like the rotation stuff, but I don't mind it if it's because, we're swapping up players, to, again, keep everybody fresh and things like that, as opposed to just swapping them out just purely based on the fact that, well, he's just doing shit. So, just swap this kind of player out. But, we'll wait and see. We shall wait and see. Liverpool's Boxing Day record under Jurgen Klopp. Quite interesting, actually. I didn't really know this. Done pretty well, if I'm being honest with you. 2015, 1-0 against Leicester. 2017, 5-0 against Swansea. 2018, 4-0 against Newcastle. 2019, that 4-0 game away to Leicester. I remember that game very vividly. 2022, 3-1 against Aston Villa. And obviously now we've got this game against Burnley. So hopefully Jurgen Klopp and the team can keep up, that fantastic record of playing on Boxing Day. Like I said, I feel like it's going to be interesting. I do feel like it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a tight one. But again, like I said, I'll get into my score predictions. This was pretty funny. Mohamed Salah has never scored a goal for Liverpool against Burnley since September 2017. That is a 9-game drought against a bottom side. Quite interesting. I'm going to have to double check that. So I'm not going to hang my hat on that one. In terms of against Burnley, I know he's obviously scored against other bottom sides, so to speak, but against Burnley, that's quite interesting. 2017, obviously, I know Burnley have been out of the Premier League as well, so of course, there's going to be a couple years in there that you could probably take away. So in terms of years wise, it's probably not as long as that seems there, but excuse me. But yeah, that is quite interesting considering he is obviously our main goal scorer. Again, we're going to need him today. We're really going to, or this evening, we're really going to need him, especially with the way that, the attack is kind of misfiring and stuff like that. We're 100% going to need this guy, 100%. So yeah, let's get into my team, my predicted lineup. Boom, boom, boom. You guys can see it? Yeah, perfect. All right. So obviously, Alisson in goal. I just pre-populated that one. That's very simple. Let's just pre-populate this one as well. Should I? Yeah. Let's pre-populate that. Gomez as well. Let's pre-populate that. Van Dijk. Let's get that in there. Trent. Let's get that in there. I believe Endo will play. I think we'll just keep playing him until he goes away on holiday. All right, cool. I think the rest is where it's up for debate. I think the rest are more. You guys let me know whilst you're watching this. Just let me know what kind of team you guys would pick. But yeah, this part is quite interesting because I do think that we're looking at the centre back role. We'll start there. Obviously, Konate played a really good game against Arsenal. Obviously, people have already started the debates and the beef between Liverpool and Arsenal, and you can't call another player good because obviously he plays for Liverpool. So that's kind of started. But like I said, he played really good against Arsenal. Will he play again? Most likely, I would say. Most likely, I feel. If he's fit, Klopp will just keep using him unless there's something in there. Now he can obviously bring him off in the game, bring on Jarell Kwanzaa. He's the only other person there, but you could bring on Jarell Kwanzaa in the second half of this game, this evening, because we have got Newcastle coming up next. So maybe just to give him a bit of a break, just because, like I said, I can't really trust him like that. Not yet. You haven't shown me yet I can trust you. And he's gonna have to build up that trust at this current moment in time. Who have all of these wonderful, who have a game like he did against Arsenal, then who have a potentially a media game, just a game where it's okay, it was okay, kind of thing, couple mistakes, maybe a yellow card here, kind of thing, nothing too crazy, but okay, cool. And then he will have a stinker, and then in that stinker, he probably gets himself injured. It's just weird with Konate. I think it's just about the consistency, of him. But when he's fit, I reckon he would use him, but he will be needing to look over his shoulder regardless of what anyone thinks. And the fact that we're saying that he needs to look over his shoulder, is he as good as people then make out? Yeah, do you get what I'm trying to say? Is he as good? I'm not trying to discredit him. I like Konate. I've always said Konate is a good defender, very good defender. He's got the attributes of that type of typical defender that you probably want alongside someone like a Virgil van Dijk, someone who's a bit more cool, calm, and collected. You probably do want someone who's, you don't want someone who's rash, but he's rash. But you want someone big, strong, quick on the ground, good in the duels and stuff like that. As a unit, all these kind of things. You want that. You kind of want that next to a guy who's so cool and calm, on the ball. So, yeah. I think just keep up the consistency, really. Just keep up the consistency. Obviously, right back's going to be Trent, as I mentioned. I potentially would have had Gomez if Simicast hadn't got himself injured. But Trent, of course, that just makes sense. He can do the same thing he was doing before, which is, slotting into that kind of centre back role, allowing the two, slotting into that centre back role to allow the other two centre backs to split. And that's only if and when potentially what's his name? Joe Gomez might, potentially go up. And also, just if Joe Gomez is upfield and you still have the three back, even if Trent does, go in his forays and he's, he basically is not playing in that right back role, at least then you could potentially still have the three at the back, which is what I've been advocating for ages, which is not leaving Liverpool so open, having at least three players back there to help in defensive transitions. Trent slots into that centre back role, but not when they're defending. You only see it when we've got the ball. So when we've got the ball, you'll see if we're popping the ball about, I don't know, let's say if Endo's got the ball or Szoboszlai's got the ball, whoever in the midfield has got the ball, or the goalkeeper or defender, anyone in those kind of positions, when they've got the ball, that's when he picks up that centre back role. When we're defending, he don't pick up that role. Do you get what I mean? He's kind of at times scrambling back to get back to that, right back role, or Konate's having to push out wide, or Matip, or when it was Matip, Kwanzaa, whoever it is. It's like we're trying to fill gaps. And I feel like I'd feel a lot more comfortable if we just constantly keep three at the back there. Someone, whoever it is, whether between Endo, Trent, and Gomez, between the three of you, sort it out. That there's a triangle right there. Between that triangle, sort that out in terms of who kind of just potentially stays back. I don't always think, even in the game against Arsenal, I know Joe Gomez almost scored, but there were times in the game I was like, you don't need to go forward. Like you are just there for the sake of being there, kind of thing. And now you're, especially against an Arsenal, obviously Burnley and not Arsenal, but especially against an Arsenal, that's a dangerous thing to do, because you really don't want to be leaving one of the best wingers alone on that side. It just didn't really make any sense to me, at times. But ultimately, I reckon these guys will be able to sort it out amongst themselves. Midfield, the thing is, you know what? Elliot, Jones. Yeah, I'm tempted to go with this midfield instead. Yeah, I just think, obviously, of course, people are probably thinking, Gravenberch, nah, not yet. He can, again, especially after that poor cameo that you had the other day. Yeah, nah, you're gonna have to sit on the bench for that one still. And Jones, obviously, yeah, I just think it just fits with him being there. Endo, as I said, in my opinion, he's gonna play because he's the only DM that we've got at the moment. Or out and out DM, should I say? And Harvey Elliott, I prefer to go with Harvey Elliott in this kind of game. I feel like he can do the industrial crap that we seem to love and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like in certain areas, for me, he's been better than Szoboszlai, in the attacking sense, in terms of what he offers you in the attacking sense, picking up those half spaces, being able to pull out wide, especially if Mo Salah cuts in. He seems to then, push out into that wide kind of area. And I just feel like he's more comfortable out there than, say, up to Szoboszlai. And on top of that, I feel like Szoboszlai has been poor for time, man. Like, when is this guy going to start getting dropped? Do you know what I mean? And it'll be unfair on players like Harvey Elliott, as much as I want consistency within the midfield, to be honest, I want consistency within the team. And I don't like constant rotation, especially if it's just rotating because players are in poor form. But at the same time, for me, it'll be a little bit unfair where Harvey Elliott's played well in the games that he's played recently. So Bozilai hasn't. And you keep playing the same guy. Like at some point, change it up. Did you get what I'm trying to? If you've got the player there, and especially because we've got games coming up thick and fast, why not try something different? That's just my opinion on that. So yeah, I would go with Harvey Elliott in the midfield area. I'm not really too fussed about that. And then, as I said, Jones kind of speaks for himself. Now, the two positions here. To be honest, I think there's only really two players even remotely available anyway. So I don't even think it's even too hard to think, which is obviously Gakpo and Nunes. But of course, it's more about who plays where. In my opinion, I would go like this. I would just do that. I would personally just do that, because I just feel like we keep chopping and changing these brothers, like with their positions, and this guy plays there, that guy plays there, and 1 minute he's here, next minute he's there. They're not finding any real consistency within the positions. 1 minute Nunes was playing through the middle. Everybody told me he's the best thing since sliced bread. This guy's got world-class striker potential. Da, 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 da. All of a sudden now, everyone has seemingly changed their mind and think that no, you know what? He's better off the left. When myself and JJ mentioned this last season, it was like World War III. It was like, no, we want him to be a striker. He should be a striker. But you can see he's someone who does like to kind of play off that left-hand side. The problem is, so does Gakpo. Do you get what I mean? Gakpo plays on that left-hand side as well. And I think he can play it, reasonably well. I think when you leave him up front, the thing is, you could swap between the two. I'm not saying you can't do that, but when you leave Gakpo up front, as we've seen with enough games, even a game against Arsenal, this brother can ghost. He seems to ghost through these games, and I'm just like, bro, that again, like I said the other day, I had to even check, was Gakpo even playing? Like, I fully forgot. I fully forgot. And that's the thing that annoys me about Gakpo. In that kind of sense, is that when you ghost, you fully ghost. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, we really don't know that you're actually on the pitch. Nunes, that will never be a problem. He's always a part of something, kind of thing. I just say just put him in the middle, to be honest with you. Especially because I just think that Burnley are going to try and keep it tight and compact. And I just think we're going to need that presence in the middle of the pitch, especially near and in front of goal. And I don't think Gakpo is going to really offer that. And I just think it's just going to be very toothless in that sense. But again, like I said, between the two, they can probably swap. He'll probably put Nunes out on the left and Gakpo in the middle. But I'm saying you just keep persisting with Nunes. If you think this Nunes guy is as good as everyone keeps telling me he is, and that he's got this world-class potential, put him in up front. It's that simple. It's really that simple. This putting him out on the left stuff. Even if he does good today, I still won't be with I still won't hear, no, he's got to be a left winger. Because first and foremost, there's probably about 10 left wingers that you'd probably rather have over Darwin Núñez anyway, first and foremost, if you had a choice of buying a left winger. And secondly, again, we've been sitting here championing, telling rivals, telling our own fan base, people like myself who don't believe in this guy as much as everybody else, that no, he's got to play through the middle. He's number 9, all of this kind of stuff. Keep him there at number 9, bro. If you can't get a number 9, then get another number 9. It's really simple. Yeah, I mean, Núñez could touch bench for a little while. Do you get what I mean? It's just one of those kind of things, man. But of course, I think he'll probably go switch it and maybe have Núñez out there on the left. But then even if he does that, then I almost feel like then you don't even believe in what you was trying to do in the first place then. So then what was this whole thing about? Like, there's too many nuances I feel with it. But again, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and be naive and think, oh, yeah, it's not going to happen. That is a potential possibility, that you have Gakpo in the middle and then, of course, Núñez out there on the left, with obviously Salah out there on the right. But people, that is my team. So Alisson in goal, Joe Gomez coming in for Kostas Tsimikas in at left back, Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, Van Dijk and Konate in the back, Endo in that defensive midfield position, with Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott. I feel Szoboszlai should be dropped to the bench. And then Gakpo, Núñez and Salah. We may have the Diaz and Jotas potentially on the bench. I feel like we're going to need them anyway because of the numbers, in terms of just being able to switch it up in the game. Because if things ain't working out and you don't have those two on the bench, it's going to be real interesting to see, how Liverpool can kind of play this out. And no Ben Doak as well. Do you know what I mean? Your options are like Kai Gordon and all these kind of young players. Nah, not away to Burnley. I don't trust those kind of guys. So yeah, that's my team. That's what I'm going with. Let me know in the comment section, please. Do you agree? Disagree? Who do you agree with? Who would you play where? Blah, blah, blah. All of that kind of good stuff. Make sure you do let me know. Now, last but not least, going to take a look at my predicted scoreline for the game. Let's get it up. Boom. So, Burnley versus Liverpool. I predict the scoreline will be 2-1. 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. That is what I am going with. I'm going with, we just edge it. I think we just edge it. The thing is, this ain't like the same Burnley that we used to, like, in terms of they're not the Burnley of old who, you know, it's fight, 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 and, you know, all of these kind of different things. This kind of Burnley under Vincent Company, they do like to play a bit of football. They like to pop it around and all that kind of stuff. You know, they're trying to play football. So, and we've seen obviously this season with their results, and you know, just in general, their kind of form this season. They're 19th in the Premier League. You know, 2 points off bottom. You know, what's that? 3 points from safety, 4 points from safety. You know, it for them, it's not really working out. Minus 18 goal difference as well. You know, that they, like I said, they're trying to play football. They're trying to do their thing, and I admire them for that. And I thought, you know, at the beginning of the season, I'm sure my season predictions, I'm sure I had them, you know, quite higher up than I see them now. But, you know, clearly it's just not worked itself out. And I don't really know what Vincent Company, you know, can do to potentially change that. So, you know, I think he's just got to kind of tighten up at the back. Like I said, they got that good victory 2-0 away to Fulham. That's a very, very good victory for a team like Burnley. To be able to get that. Can they build on that? Obviously, of course, hopefully not, but let's wait and see today. But guys, that's the end of my match preview. Burnley versus Liverpool. Gave you guys my lineup, gave you guys my predicted scoreline. We saw a little bit of news as well. Again, like I mentioned before, please make sure you let me know in the comment section below who you would start and what your score prediction is. Tune in for after the game. I'll probably be flying around on different spaces, streams and stuff like that. So you'll probably see me anyway, but I will be dropping my match reaction this evening, probably, hopefully just before the Manchester United game. I think it is this evening. I think just before that, I'll be dropping you my match reaction, hopefully with a Liverpool victory to talk about. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you smash a like, make sure you share, make sure you do subscribe. I'm G. We are out.